Here is your Africa True Story. How the West is pushing poison through genetically modified food aid. Africa is in danger of becoming the dumping ground for the struggling genetically modified food industry and the laboratory for frustrated scientists. The proponents of GM technology sell a sweet message of GM crops bringing the second green revolution and the answer to Africans' hunger, but a closer look makes it clear that GM crops have no place in African agriculture. GM foods are produced from organisms whose genetical material has been changed by introducing the gene of a different organism through a process called genetic engineering. Over the years, so-called experts are channeling the message of the biotech industry, heavily controlled by US European seed and chemical giants Monsanto Bayer, Signeta, and DuPont Pioneer, which the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are huge funders of. The message once again is that failure of African farmers to adopt GM technology is the root cause of hunger and poverty to the continent. It is ironic that GMO foods are banned by law as unsafe in the European homes but are allowed in Africa. Meanwhile, the African biotech scientists seem more concerned that the strict liability measures will chase away donor funding and investments for their costly and prestigious research. They blame the anti-GMO activists rather than their own technological failure for the impulse. They claim that if only the activists will shut up and go away, the industry-backed researchers could fix the food insecurity problem once and for all. Once again, Africa is being compelled to adapt other views, other technologies, and other interests. Africans have long been told that its agriculture is backwards and should be abandoned for a 21st century version of the Green Revolution that enabled India to feed itself. In a June 2021 analysis of 1,130 Gates Foundation grants for agriculture since 2003, found the grants are heavily skewed to technologies developed by research centers and corporations in the north for poor farmers in the south, completely ignoring the knowledge, technologies, and biodiversity that these farmers already possess. Several governments in Africa have over the years objected to the GM grain, citing health and environmental concern, but yet the crop still makes its way to the continent, undermining Africa's food and seed sovereignty and delegating the control of Africa's food production systems to profit-driven multinational corporations. They do so by holding farmers in debt cycle that they reduce the ability to produce more food for consumption. More than 80% of the food consumed in Africa is produced by smallholder farmers. Lifting the ban on GMOs will expose farmers to the exorbitant prices of GM seeds, and they are likely to be locked in debt cycles as they try to pay for seeds acquired through loans. Environmental concerns associated with IGMOs include the loss of agricultural biodiversity and interference with a country's ecological balance. GM crops are likely to contaminate non-GM crops through pollination. This could lead to the loss of indigenous varieties of crops. Food sovereignty and civil society groups, faith leaders, and farmers, labor and environmental organizations across Africa have raised concerns for many years about Gates Foundation's agricultural development strategies for Africa and the foundation's sway over public spending and government policies. In dozens of reports since 2007, the South African-based African Center for Biodiversity has documented numerous problems with the Gates-led Green Revolution for Africa. This include subsidy deals, growing corporate control of the seed sector, expanding use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides, escalation to more toxic pesticides as pests develop resistance to genetically modified seeds, soil degradation, loss of biodiversity, and negative impact on small farmers. The group and many others are calling for a transition to agroecological practices and policies that allow food sovereignty. African groups have also called out the neocolonial dynamics of Gates Foundation funding for Africa. These critics say the foundation and other private donors, investors, agribusiness corporations, and Western governments are pushing a false narrative that African farmers need to buy patented seeds and agrochemicals developed by Western corporations in order to produce enough food. They say African farmers and communities should decide how to shape Africa's food systems. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, follow, share, and like our video. It's the best way of supporting us. And remember, Africa is watching.